Welcome to the course on Instrumentation and Process Control. Myself, Nidhi Mehta, Assistant Professor at Chemical Engineering Department, LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So, let's just start with the new topic, which is control system. The word control system is made up of two different words, control and system. So what we are going to understand in this particular topic or in this particular chapter, let's just see. We will deal with how to control different system or different processes sitting in a control room or from a remote area. Correct? We will deal with what are various equipment or processes which are involved in remote controlling systems. Correct? Now, whenever we talk about control system, we must understand that each and every process or operation has to be controlled in our industry. It is quite important for us to control everything so precisely just to get proper product which is having a proper purity or a proper quality. Correct? It is not only for the product specification but with respect to the safety of industry and the employees or manpower who are working in industry. It is quite essential to control our process and our operations, right? So let's talk about what are basic type of control system we do have. So the first control system which is present is manual control. As you can see in this particular picture, a operator is going inside the plant in that particular equipment and he is trying to just close the knob in that particular position only, right? So if operator wants to stop the flow rate of some fluid in any kind of equipment, so he need to go there to that particular equipment and turn off the knob there, right? So this is a manual kind of operation. This is another example of manual operation. As you can see, there is a tank filled with liquid, correct? And fluid is coming inside the tank from one particular point, and from the another point the controller or operator is trying to control the level of fluid inside the tank. So what he will be doing is, he will just see the level of tank from the given slit, from this particular slit of the tank, and he will just try to see the level of liquid inside the tank. By doing so, if he feels that the level is going to increase above the given level, he will just open the knob so that excess of fluid can come out of the tank and the level will be maintained inside the tank. So in both this example, as you can see, the process or the operation is manual, correct? If someone wants to have control over some kind of operation, then it is going to be manual. He need to go there straight to that particular equipment or site and do operation manually. But the second type of control system is automatic control system. As you can see in this particular picture, what we are trying to do is, we have just attached an automatic controller to our system. Suppose we are talking about a liquid level system and I want to control the level of liquid inside that particular tank. So what we will do is, we will just attach a liquid level system or liquid level automatic controller to that particular system, and that can be remotely controlled by us from anywhere inside the industry. Right? So what we will do is that controller will send us the signal, and based on that signal we will either open the knob or close the knob depending upon our need. Correct. So this is the kind of control room which is present in our industry, from where our operators operate equipment, controls equipment from a remote area. Correct. Now let's talk about the block diagram. So basically block diagram is the most important and crucial part of entire control system, right? So understanding block diagram is very important for all of us. How it actually works? So there is a set point. Always remember that set point is the input which you are giving, right? Input given by you. So we just set our goals or desired point. Whatever we want output from that particular system, we will give it as a set point. Set point is given to the controller, and the duty of controller is to control the entire system or working. How it controls the entire system, let's just see. So these are the different elements. Let's just first see what are different elements, and then we will see how they are interrelated to each other. There is a final control element. Duty of final control element is to take action depending on the signal provided by controller. There is a process which we are trying to control. There will be disturbance, that is some unwanted outlets or some environmental load is known as disturbance. There will be a measuring device which will simply measure the outlet condition from our system and send the reading back to the controller. So this is the entire block diagram. As you can see here, the most important features of this block diagram are controller, final control element, process and measuring device. Correct. So these are the most important features. Now let's just discuss how they actually work. So what happened is, set point is given by us and it is fixed, right? Suppose we want outlet from a heater as 60 degrees centigrade. So set point is said to be 60 degrees centigrade, correct? Now duty of controller is what? Controller will compare our set point, that is our desired value, and outlet given by our system. So the outlet stream which is coming out of the system is measured by a measuring device, and that value or that measured signal is sent to the controller. So duty of controller is to compare both the values, that is set point and measured signal, correct? Depending on the error generated, the error is then sent to the final control element. The error which is generated is known as control signal, correct? So the error is generated by comparing set point and measured signal. That error is known as control signal, and it is then sent by controller to the final control element. Now, what is duty of final control element? Duty of final control element is to take the desired action. What it will do, depending on our situation, it will decide what kind of action it has to be taken up, right? So as right now we have talked about, suppose our set point or desired value is 60 degrees centigrade and our output is coming to be 55 degrees centigrade. So the error generated will be 60 set point minus measured signal, which is 55. So 60 minus 55 will be 5. So my 5 degree centigrade will be the error which will be sent by controller to final control element. Now the value or the error is plus 5 degree centigrade. So it defines that the heat has to be increased to the level of 5 degree centigrade. Correct. So now final control element will decide what it has to choose. It has to choose either to increase the heat content by 5 degree centigrade or lower down the inlet of fluid so that it can achieve 60 degree centigrade. Correct. Depending on that, manipulated variable is generated and it will manipulate or it will access the process, which will then provide you the outlet at 60 degree centigrade. Correct. We are having disturbance here. The purpose or the duty of disturbance is to provide some kind of barriers in achieving your desired goal. So from providing the manipulated variable, we are just trying to compensate with this disturbance. Correct. We will compensate disturbance by manipulating the error sent by control variable. Is it clear? So this is your entire block diagram and this is how the entire block diagram or control system works. Now let's just see the another topic, which is standard form of block diagram. So we simply show block diagram with small letters or small alphabet and we do have their standard form. So as you can see in this particular block diagram, I have noted down all the elements with specific characteristics, right? As you can see here, R, right? So let's just see what is R. So R is known as set point or desired value. What is C? So C, as you can see here, C is nothing but controlled variable. E here is our error generated by comparing the set point value and controlled variable value, right? B will be the variable produced by measuring element and M is the manipulated variable which is generated by our final control element. So now coming to the blocks, you can see U here, U is a load variable or disturbance. GC is transfer function of controller. G1 is transfer function or final control element. G2 is transfer function of process and H is the transfer function of our measuring element. Correct. So these are the symbolic representation of different blocks or transfer function and their duties which we represent in the standard form. So whenever you are dealing with numericals, you will see these kind of symbols there. So it is quite essential to know and understand the meaning of G1, G2, E, B, R, etc. Correct. Coming to the next topic, which is negative feedback. So what do we mean by negative feedback? Whenever we are subtracting the measured variable value, the value which is coming from the measuring device, whenever we are going to subtract that value from our set point, then those block diagram or those systems are termed as negative feedback system. Correct. And the formula is given by error is equal to set point minus measured variable. Again I am repeating, whenever you are subtracting the measured variable value from your desired set point, then it is termed as negative feedback value. Correct. Coming to the positive feedback, So whenever you are adding the measured variable to the desired set point or desired value, the system is termed as positive feedback system. This is positive sign. So whenever you are adding the measured variable value to your desired value or set point, it is termed as positive feedback system. Correct. So this is about negative and positive feedback system. Now, this is all about today's topic. We have covered what is control, what is block diagram, standard form of block diagram, positive and negative feedback system. Hope all the topics are clear. Thank you.